A while ago, I shared reflections on turning 35 and expanding the channel's topics with lifestyle and personable content. This is one of those videos to hopefully nurture my connection with you. Otherwise, I discuss philosophy, psychology, and other esoteric topics, so stick around if that's interesting. Recently, I asked my viewers what they would prioritize between reconnecting with a childhood passion and improving workflow. The first example was a musical instrument like the guitar, as many esotericists actually play. The second, a device to help with whatever they do. Most voted for passion. Although I also consider that my Mercurial Virgo nature said its heavy word, so I pulled the trigger on the second. For me, the first was a musical instrument, which I'll hopefully discuss in the future. The second, the Apple Studio display. In this one, I'll explain my decision as a creator, polymath, and student of Qabalistic psychology. I won't be delving into specs that are all over the internet, but first focus on esoteric principles and life lessons, and then cover the technical reasons for picking up the display. Everything I say will apply to similar situations/dilemmas, and meanwhile, I'll also unbox the display. Mapping the human psyche, the Qabalistic Tree of Life has several divisions, one of which is the Four Worlds. The highest Atsilut represents the life force Kia, the pure urge to live and express. The second Braya or Bria is the creative ideas. Third is formation, organization, and finding ways to turn ideas into action, Yetzaira. And the fourth is the physical Asiya or Asaya, including dense energies, actions, and limitations. Possibly sounding abstract, this applies to everything, especially for creators, which according to superstar producer Rick Rubin and Telemic scholar David Shoemaker actually includes you. The best-selling modern magic applies the Four Worlds to building a stand for Kabbalistic practices and pretty much anything. By running the process through them, you can identify where something goes wrong and actually correct it. Embracing this blueprint, I believe we seldom lack ideas. Thanks to studies on willpower, learning, habit formation, and system building, we also don't struggle with figuring things out. Where many still do is the physical reality, actually taking action. Simply put, that is doing the things you ought to do, navigating through limitations like your time, mind, and body. Esoterically, think of Asya or Asaya, the physical, and the throne of being a Saturn, which includes stagnation and no change. Also think of Yesod, the personal unconscious, transmitting whatever happens in the higher realms to the physical through the path of Saturn, which is of the four elements and limitations. No matter how brilliant, turning your ideas into reality requires change, which implies action that likely goes against Saturn's inertia, or what Gurdjieff called the mechanistic cosmos. For athletes and quote-unquote pure intellectuals, this mainly relies on mind-body performance and optimization. For creators, the process includes their tools, which can either make or break it. Let me know your thoughts. Tools are carriers for the skills and actions, Asya, following the plans and systems, Yetzaira, for the ideas, Braya, and the life spark for expression, Atsilut. Now, I'm not stating that better gear makes you a better creator. As I like to say, magic is like art. Not having a particular piece of equipment should never prevent you from creating. Similarly, not having this or that device should never stop you from doing the work. On the contrary, after living that paradigm for a while, a creator would likely ask themselves the stoic question: is this necessary? Namely, is overcoming obstacles and jumping through hoops to get something done essential? Considering memento mori, my answer is no. Your creative work should never take more than it needs. This doesn't mean obsessing over specs, but prioritizing doing great work quicker, or if you prefer, not bottlenecking the process in one of the worlds as found in a moment. Our ideas may be endless or limitless, but in the physical everything is limited, including time, our most valuable asset. Magic usually follows the path of least resistance. Optimize your tools, enabling that for your creative process, which, whether you're into Qabalah, does run through the Qabalistic Worlds and is basically magic as you turn things into existence and cause changes to occur. Also consider Jupiter Hesed and the Hindu god Ganesha. The first provides ease of circumstances, the second removes obstacles. Are your tools embodying those principles? The more they do, the more you can freely or readily manifest creative impulses through the worlds, move between the realms, as Yesod, the personal subconscious and foundation of the physical, is also a receptive transmitter. Plus, as we know from Rubin, for the craftsman type of creator, actions can actually facilitate better ideas. Let me know if you agree. The yogi follows the middle pillar and the path of the arrow. The Western esotericist, the whiting flash in which hot, the sphere of Mercury and intellect comes before Netzach's passion when moving bottom to top. Getting the studio display at my journey's current stage is more than optimizing workflow with a cool piece of tech. It actually marks an increased understanding of Hot's influence on my life and work as a Virgo male. Similarly, the instrument will be the same in regards to Netzach, which actually feels hot. The first relates to my intellect, the second to a rather exotic art and pure passion. Let me know if that resonates. When thinking of creative freedom, creatives often obsess over specs, which should never be a trait for a better workflow. For instance, consider editing crispy 4K footage on an old PC. While not as exciting as a drone, another lens, or a second camera body, a proper display makes a day and night difference in both workflow and output. Then consider time. You might not get the instrument immediately, but you get time and the peace of mind, both of which increase the likelihood of engaging your childhood passion down the line. Conversely, overworking yourself for no reason decreases it, even if you buy a Gibson, and this leads us to the second key message. Always strive to gain more time, as it's the only resource you cannot recover. Plus, completing projects quicker keeps them relevant to who you currently are, maintaining your momentum and excitement. It basically captures the moment, which is your journey's current stage. Let me know if you agree. Next comes health. While navigating through Premiere is doable on a laptop, my eyes and neck are eternally grateful for the display. I hope this rings some bells. And now, let me summarize the unboxing and move to the reasons for actually getting it. While more technical, they make plenty of sense based on everything covered. The studio display comes in a huge Apple box, which is worth saving to move it around. It is wrapped in more cardboard than paper, and the power cord is on the back. It includes a single Thunderbolt cable, and that's pretty much all. Given that, I think it's absolutely stunning. The best display I've seen in my whole life. Literally. As far as the model, I got the base one with the regular stand and non-nano texture. Thus far, I have zero regrets. Although you might call me an Apple fanboy, initially I didn't plan to get the studio display. I actually had my eyes on a 32-inch 4K BenQ, but several factors diverted me. First and foremost, colors. Though other monitors look great, none matches Mac's actual colors. And since most people have Apple devices, this means my work wouldn't necessarily look the same across all. Besides, no matter how calibrated, monitors shift with time. Not applicable to the studio display, this implies spending more money on a calibrator and eventually using it, wasting resources in the physical. 4K may be okay for editing and producing, but not necessarily for writing and coding, as it can basically blur the characters due to macOS being 5K. Now, I write from a sofa, but being able to use my screen is an absolute must. The studio display provides pixel-perfect clarity, giving me more freedom within the constraints I face. The studio display is intended to work with Macs, which streamlines the creative process. This is one of the reasons why I stick to Apple and brands like Canon, Universal Audio, and perhaps even Rain. They may not be the most customizable, but they're the most reliable, letting me complete anything in ASIA. 1. They last a ton, and 2. They just work. Both are things most companies tend to neglect in favor of pointless customizability, wasting our precious decisions and distracting us from our work. Let me know what you think. Mentioning customization, the studio display literally does not have any. Even its cable cannot be detached, which is kind of a bummer, reminding me of Technics turntables that are still industry standard. It's a plug-and-play thing meant to serve one purpose flawlessly, to be a Mac display which it over-delivers. The studio display's actual features are basically vastly underrated low-key basics, which other companies seem to neglect. Other than the mention, this includes easy portability, no need for assistance, maximum stability and not swinging when you're typing, like others, superb build quality and metal chassis, an immaculate design inspiring creativity, and incredible speakers, which I plan to use for reference as a producer. The only accessories I got are a woven desk mat, a MacBook stand, and a Logitech MX Keys Mini. I needed something close to my MacBook's keys, but reasonably priced. For half the cost of a Magic Keyboard, the MX Keys Mini seemed a no-brainer. Otherwise, I already have the MX Master mouse. While I'm not sponsored, I had nothing but great experiences with Logitech, plus the keyboard matches the aesthetics of my Mac, iPad and the Poe with its metal chassis. I got my studio display referred from Apple. Having the same warranty as the brand new, this could actually be a better option for several reasons. 1. Often the units aren't returned by customers, they simply didn't meet all of Apple's requirements initially. 2. They get tested twice and basically double checked for potential issues. And 3. The cost is lower. The only downside is that you may have to wait as what you need might not be immediately available. Some say buy once, cry once. Others compare Macs to camera bodies, whereas Apple displays to hand glass. The first gets updated more regularly, the second stays for longer. I tend to agree, but let me know about you. The Apple Studio display is not cheap and already 2 years old. Nevertheless, I believe I'm future-proofing, thinking of it as the 18-35 Sigma or perhaps the 24-70 EF by Canon. Being 10 years old, the former continues to be most of your favorite creators' favorite lens. Like the display, the Sigma serves a single purpose flawlessly, producing stunning images without hassle. So to reiterate some of the previous concepts, your tools can make or break your brilliant ideas. It is not about getting the latest and fanciest, but having the right tools to never fail you, which is precisely why I got the studio display. Whether it's time, resources or tools, we all face limitations. Thoughtful decisions help remove obstacles, allowing us to focus on what truly matters, creating work that resonates. For me, the Apple Studio display is an investment in my future, freeing up time and mental space to make more and hopefully better works while reconnecting with my roots. But that's just my opinion. If it resonates, consider subscribing, checking my products and links in the description, and also letting me know if you enjoy such type of content on the channel. Thank you for your time.